Recently, there has been a rise when it comes to degeneracy in Roblox voice chat, with some of these games becoming a breeding ground for these disgusting communities. Communities that have committed actions so bad that if I were to say what they are, YouTube won't like it. But the game that I'll be talking about here is not necessarily as extreme as the ones that might have been talked about in the past, but this game's community is still bad nonetheless. But the worst thing about this game is that unlike these infamous games on Roblox, this one is one of the biggest games in this platform, usually averaging more than 50,000 concurrent players, and that game is Evade. But before I continue any further, let me get one thing straight. I do not have a problem with the game of Evade itself. I think Evade is okay. It's one of the more polished games that are in Roblox right now. But what I do have a problem with is its community. Because if there's one thing that the Evade community is known for, it's e-dating, which is basically just online dating. Back in the day, I've spent 2 years playing Evade, while also making videos about Evade for a whole year. And during that time, almost half the people that I knew in this game were basically e-dating each other. But if they weren't, a lot of them have been hit on or courted by players in this game. But with my experience aside, I've also dedicated a whole day checking out videos and TikToks that were specifically made about Evade, and I'm not gonna lie, some of these are pretty hard watches.
Is he getting faster? Oh my god, I'm pretty good so far.
But anyway, for the most part, a lot of these TikToks do romanticize the actions that you do in game. Like when you get saved and get carried by a person in Evade, and for some reason it becomes a reason for you to fall in love with them. Raising players up by doing smooth tricks and emotes in front of another player. Or it's simply just people admiring other players in game from afar. But pretty much it's just stuff that would kind of encourage and give you the idea of e-dating in this game. I know a lot of people shun e-dating for being cringe, but that's not the real issue here. Me personally, like, e-dating is whatever. Like, I don't really have anything bad to say about the concept of e-dating itself. If you guys are okay with each other dating online and keeping it online and are aware of the limitations that this setup has for you guys, then it's whatever. Me personally, I believe there's a lot of downsides when it comes to e-dating, but at the end of the day, it's your relationship, not mine. So yeah. But what gives me the biggest ick when it comes to e-dating specifically in Roblox Evade is that it has made it such a common place for pedophilia and hypersexuality. Although this type of thing is not necessarily something new in Roblox, sadly. But because of Evade's heavy e-dating culture, it has made it easy for predators and pedophiles to prey on this idea and take advantage of younger and impressionable players in this game. Because it's very easy to hide within the Evade community's already flirtatious nature. Now what I mean by this is, although there are people out there that do act freaky and act inappropriate in this manner as a joke just because it gets reactions out of people, like I understand that's a thing. But the thing is, there are genuine freaks out there that are serious about this. But rather than having their actions stand out like a sore thumb, a lot of people in this community already are acting weird by default. So it kind of makes these dangerous people camouflage and blend into the crowd, allowing people to act inappropriately with others, especially young impressionable kids, without people necessarily batting an eye. I have witnessed my friends become victims to these pedophiles because of them not knowing any better, and I've also had some old friends who have lied to me and got exposed for being pedophiles themselves. But to clarify, I'm no longer associated with these people. And to back that statement, me and some friends will also be providing screenshots from these creepy interactions from Evade players, which we will be reacting to later in the video. And for the sake of safety and privacy, names will be blurred out in this video, but also including the predators' names as well. Not because they deserve safety and privacy, but rather because these people are irrelevant nobodies that deserve to be forgotten. I will be talking moreover about those experiences and my experiences that I've had during my time in Evade, but for now, let's see what the community itself has to say. Because with the help of my friend Mushler, he was able to interview some of the players of Evade for me and ask them about their opinions of the community of the game. And some of the answers that we've got from them were pretty interesting. And this is what he got.
Do you think Evade has gone a bit too freaky?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. I would like to say yeah, there's a lot more e-daters nowadays.
I hate Evade. I miss the old Evade now. The community is so much worse than it used to be.
Do you think it's like more freakier than usual?
It is way more freakier than usual. It's not even game design. The game design is just fine, but the community, horrid.
I just wanted to ask, what's your opinion on like the Evade community now? Like, do you think it's gone a little bit better, or do you think it's gone worse?
Good question. 100% worse. I swear, yesterday I was playing Evade, right? And I managed to get a friend look like a girl because she had a girl avatar, and then just started asking me these random questions like, what's your age? Where do you live? Are your parents home?
What?
The first experience that I'll be sharing is from a friend that is willing to share their experience for this video. And in her experience, back then, she met a guy in Evade and ended up becoming really close to him after a while. But as time passed, this guy ended up having freakier intentions in mind with my friend. He started talking more inappropriately with her and started directly hitting on her and tried to convince her to do freaky stuff for him. This guy was doing this while he had a girlfriend. But not only that, this guy was 19 and being like this with my friend while she was a minor at the time. At one point during a voice call with him, he basically admitted to checking off to her multiple times and had thoughts of visiting her country to have sex with her. Yeah, it's pretty f***ed. On that same voice call, this man decided to ask her to have sex with him. She ended up refusing, but this guy doesn't let it go. He gets angry and he ends up threatening to blackmail her by sending pictures that she sent to him to friends and family. But thankfully, my friend was able to avoid that from happening. The guy gave up on my friend and stopped pursuing her, but his actions in general did not change. He ended up finding another girl to replace her and had her carve his name into her body just so that he could use it as his Discord banner. And that's the end of her story with this dangerous man, all just by simply happening by meeting someone in Evade. Although it's terrible to encounter a predator in-game, it is also just as bad as having one of your own friends be revealed as a predator. And I will be talking about my experience about a person who used to be my friend that turned out to be one of these creeps. One day, I was hanging out with a bunch of my friends in a voice call, playing Untitled Tag at the time, and all of a sudden, my friend started complaining about her boyfriend at the time. We all started talking to her about it and tried to give advice, but then one of my other friends got curious and asked how old was her boyfriend, and that's when she said that her boyfriend was The whole voice call just went into complete silence, trying to absorb that information because the thing is, this girl was 19 years old. After shortly learning this information, I reached out to this boyfriend of hers to check if this is actually true, and it was, with the boyfriend himself telling us so and also providing screenshots, being aware of their ages. But on a side note though, I just want to talk about how stupid this message is, about her complaining about her aged boyfriend being immature. I don't know what you expect dating a but the last thing I'd expect is maturity. But anyway, after learning this information, me and my friend group have decided to cut ties with her, and from that point forward, we didn't hear from her since. But one day, while I was hanging out with another friend group, I noticed that the same girl that dated a minor was hanging out with them. And from realizing that, I quickly warned the owner of the server and the owner in the server that she's been showing interest in. Although they did acknowledge my warning, they still decided to keep her around because she didn't do anything crazy to them yet. At the time, I was frustrated that these people were giving this girl a chance. But the thing is, I wasn't that close of a friend to them, which would explain why they would have their doubts with these allegations. And I was just left with hoping for the best and praying nothing happens. And not too long after, I got news that the girl has finally been kicked out of the server, telling me how she was being creepy and sexually harassing that same during private calls. And those are the Evade experiences that I've decided to share in this video. But even with that said, there's still so much more incidents out there. Like how a viewer messaged me about how they recognized the pedophile in my Evade videos. Or how another friend of mine got privately messaged in Evade by a player, actually harassing them and asking them to play a condo game with them. And that's why as an Evade player, it's important for us to acknowledge that these things do happen within the community so that we may recognize these red flags and prevent more players from experiencing the Evade that I know. Thank you guys for watching.